Identity is everything. In order to be able to even attempt to make sense of this nonsensical world, you must first make sense of yourself. And identity is the theme for today's tale, the tale of Therese Voerman. Our story follows Therese and her twin sister, Jeanette, and the twisted fate which befell them. Like many children born before the turn of the 20th century, Therese and Jeanette lost their mother young, leaving them in the care of their father. Now, he had always been a kind and gentle man. However, with the loss of his wife, there was now a piece of him missing. He attempted to fill this void with drowning his sorrows and showering young Therese with affection. Therese was her father's golden girl and did everything he asked of her. And she really did look oh so much like her mother. Jeanette felt neglected by her father and was jealous of her more favoured half, so she became rebellious, resentful and spiteful, revelling in the roaring nightlife of Santa Monica, where she became distinctly well known throughout. But one night, Jeanette fell asleep in Therese's bed, and the two, they looked so alike. Now, their father, he did like to drink, and whether or not he could not tell the difference or did not care, who can say? But the two, they really did look oh so much like their mother. Therese walked in on this scene, and unable to comprehend this betrayal, her mind went blank. Suddenly she was standing over her father, the barrel of his hunting rifle pressed against his own purpled, bloated head as beads of sweat trickled down onto the cold, hard steel. She pulled the trigger. The insides of her father's head left a dark stain on the silly clown wallpaper. But in her blind rage, half of herself had died too. Therese made no attempt to resist the men who came to take her away, and so young Therese Voerman was sent away to receive treatment. This treatment? Oh wow. The things that dwell in the darkest depths of your worst nightmares would not come even close to describing it. But there was one glimmer of light in Therese's world of darkness. He was kind and gentle. He understood everything she was feeling, and most importantly, he presented her with a way out.
I want to show you something.
And once more, Therese was alone and isolated, nothing to call her own. But she did not let that stop her. She took hold of her pain and used it to carve out a piece of Santa Monica for herself. Things were starting to look up for Therese. Then, one miraculous day, her sister Jeanette, somehow she came back to her. But something was different. It wasn't a joyous reunion as Therese had hoped. Jeanette was once again resentful and spiteful, acting rebelliously, and it seemed as if she was doing everything she could to tear down all that Therese had struggled so hard to build around her. One thing after another, and eventually it was just too much for Therese to handle. She finally decided that something had to be done with her sister, for how could the two continue to coexist like this? But maybe out there there's some good soul, some wandering fledgling who can help Therese and Jeanette settle their differences and live together and avoid being all alone and isolated once more. And that draws us to the end of this story. Ensure that you learn from this tale and do not let the darkness that dwells in the abyss consume you. Hold on to all that is precious and remain in the light. But that is all for now. There are many, many more tales from the abyss to tell. So, until then, good evening.